Hey everybody, I am posting our weekly video, and this week I am giving you a cheat sheet for your paper, which is due on Saturday the 12th. So bear with me for 5 minutes while I go over the 15 things I'm going to be looking for when I grade your paper. Basically, just look at each of these, and if you keep them in your notes, you should do fine on this paper. So, first, title. Is your title specific? Does it let me know what your paper is about? Then, your first paragraph. Does it have a signal phrase? Do you introduce the piece that you're analyzing as well as who made it? Your first paragraph, does it briefly describe the image? Again, you're not analyzing it, you're just describing it. You might include such items there as focal point, background, contrast, cropping, color, light and dark, perspective, or any text that the image includes. Then, in that first paragraph, you might briefly set up what the paper will explore, give us a teaser to know what we're expecting. And then you're going to have a good transition sentence from that first paragraph into the second, so that once we get into the body of the paper, it's not just like jumping off a cliff. Okay, so we've got our title, we've got our first paragraph. Now let's get into the meat of the paper. What should the body of your paper have? And all of this is on your assignment sheet, but I do want to make sure you have an audio of it as well. Body of the paper. Maybe you might go into the context of the image. That's again the place where you're going to have some outside research. You've already done that for homework. Use it. You might discuss such things as the year the photo was taken, the actors who starred in the movie, if it's a movie poster, the director who made it, or maybe the political climate that necessitated the ad, or even the cultural movement when it was made. This is also the place where you should cite outside research. You should have already looked up your image. You should have Googled it and found good sources to back that up. Nothing on Wikipedia. And again, I'm not looking for a works cited page. I want to make this easy for you, but I do need you to tell me where the source came from. So put in parentheses next to whatever information you use where it came from. And also, if you're quoting something, use quotes, but you shouldn't need to quote anything. Just paraphrase it as best you can. Then, I'd like you in this context paragraph to talk about how the image is commenting on that context. How is it responding to that situation? Okay, moving on then. Let's talk about some other things I'm looking for in this paper. What message or purpose is being conveyed? This might go hand in hand with the context, but think in terms of the big why. Why was this image created? Why now? Who is the intended audience? There could be multiple audiences. Think as many audiences as you can. Think broadly. How would the image affect them? They're all stakeholders, so how is the image reaching them? Now you're going to name at least one of the appeals being used. So you're going to tell me either ethos, pathos, logos, or even kairos. Which appeal is being used here? What does the appeal mean? For example, logos, an appeal to logic, is being used in the following ways in this image. So I'm not just looking for you to say logos was shown here. I want you to tell me what logos is so that you can show that you understand it. What genre is the image? So what type of image is it? So that's the body of your paper. Now we talked about your introduction paragraph. I'm also looking for a conclusion paragraph. It's the bookend, which often when you write a conclusion paragraph, you're looking back on the paper and you're briefly summarizing what you wrote in different language. Then you might at the end of that paragraph make a toward statement. So something where we're looking back on the future and then we're looking back on the past, then we're looking toward the future. So for example, going off the Beatles' Abbey Road example that I used in the prior video, you might consider saying something such as, whether or not the Beatles knew Abbey Road would be the last album they'd ever record together, its cover will go down in history as the bookend on the 60s, the peace and love movement that came to an end, the remarkable era that came to an end. Obviously, that's very cheesy, but something that lets us look toward the future of how maybe fans would respond to that image. Other basic things: keep your paper between 1,000 and 1,200 words. That doesn't count your title, doesn't count your heading. So a good 1,000-word paper, you can go up to 1,200. Please proofread it or have someone else proofread it for you once it's written. I don't want to see any sloppy errors, typos, things like that will distract me from grading. Format your paper correctly. No extra spaces between paragraphs. Times New Roman 12-point font, 1-inch margins. Basic things with the heading, MLA formatting are used in high school. Turn it in on time. So again, paper is due Saturday the 12th by midnight. Please turn it in at any point beforehand also if you'd like to get it into me early. The earlier the better. I will take my time looking at all of them, but whenever you feel that you've written a strong paper, feel free to turn it in onto Canvas. Okay, everyone, I think those are the main points. Happy writing.